hope that Elvis is alive.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's probably getting past the point where that one could even be true.
Welcome to WatchMojo's Poppin the Culture, your weekly pop culture touchpoint. And me, well, I'm your host with the most trips to the barber. That's right, it's me, Mr. Hollywood himself, Matt Demers. As always, we got a really great show coming your way. I've got two sets of interviews for you. One is with Christian Slater and Clark Duke of Netflix's animated comedy series Inside Job. That's right. Also, I'll be speaking with Emma Malouff. She's on the FX series Impeachment. But first, let's jump in to those Hollywood headlines. All right, for those that know and for those that don't know, this is the part of the show where we like to dissect those interesting developments out there in Hollywood. And of course, as always, I need help doing it. And guess who is back? My man Ty Richardson is here from sunny Florida. Ty, how are you?
I'm doing good. I had a nice weekend of playing some video games and pretty much doing nothing else in life.
I love when I get the video game folks on the show because there's people that watch this and listen that are video game fans. I myself, I dabble a little bit in the video game world, but I've tasked you, and we're going to save it for at the end of this segment, your video game picks. As a matter of fact, we're calling it Ty's video game picks, so you got your own segment.
Ooh, I feel so special.
I expect good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, we got to start. Disney had this Disney Day kind of celebration a few days back. The biggest revelation that came out of it, in my eyes, and the one that, if you go online, people are still talking about, is that they're resurrecting the X-Men 90s animated series. That's right. They're calling it X-Men 97. Now, people might be wondering, why is it called that? Well, the show ran from 1992 to 1997. So they're picking up right after. That's right. It's not a reboot. It's a complete continuation. Before we get into kind of by the way, it's not coming out till 2023. So I guess we don't need to get too excited.
That's too long. Too far away.
I'm a fan. Hey, this was my jam. I love that series. Did you even watch it?
I didn't actually. No. I missed a lot of these amazing animated superhero shows from the 90s. I've seen a good chunk of Batman the animated series. I'm sure everybody has seen a lot of it. But the Marvel stuff, nobody really talked about them in my circles. It was always Batman or Justice League. No one talked about Spider-Man. Yeah. No one talked about X-Men. So I missed all this stuff. And I've had, I think, Spider-Man and whatever X-Men animated series they have already on Disney+. I have them on my watch list. It's just finding the time. They ran for so long and there's so many episodes. So I'm stoked, though.
I think so. I think it's going to be good. People really like it, and I was trying to think why. There's obviously that nostalgia factor, like you said, but I feel like the X-Men animated series was kind of Marvel's first cartoon or animated series where they got it right. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they've done stories in this animated series that were better told than they did in the movies, like the Phoenix storyline.
Yeah,
it's a really great plot in this animated series, and the movies have done it twice, and for my money, not so good both times.
Yeah, I would say X-Men, the 90s animated series, X-Men 97, whatever you want to call it, I would say that was probably Marvel's Batman the animated series, because when you look at the Spider-Man one, it's kind of a little bit cheesy in some areas, and it's been memed to death by this point where it's like, I can't even take this show seriously anymore.
I think you're right. Any other animated series that you think should get resurrected? Because I feel like that's kind of a thing now. DC did it first with their, what was it, Young Justice? Mm-hmm. A few years back, they brought that back. Mm-hmm. Now we got this one. What says you? Any other? Should they do a... Well, they kind of continued the Batman ones in the film series, right? So that's kind of continued.
A little bit. I don't know about resurrecting anything. If anything, I would want to see more characters getting their own shows, and not like side characters, like superheroes that are just as big and important as all the other major ones. Like, where's my Ghost Rider animated series?
Oh, that'd be so good.
You guys canceled it. You canceled it. It was going to be a huge hit. and you took it away.
That would be so good.
Also, I know this is a weird pick too, but when can we get a Howard the Duck animated series?
Okay. Howard, do we want this? I don't know.
I just want to see if someone can make something good out of Howard the Duck, even if it turns out to be worse than the movie from the 80s.
I was reliving some moments. I didn't rewatch the movie, but I watched some clips. Man, what were they doing?
It was so bad. Bad.
The bathtub scene with there's duck on human.
Oh my god. I remember watching that when I was in middle school or high school. I found it in like a bargain bin at Target or Best Buy. And even then I was like, what is happening? Yeah. What is this movie?
Yeah, even my dog doesn't want it.
Yeah, he's barking out of anger.
Yeah, none of that. I want to see the Spawn animated series come back.
Yes, the way the HBO series ended and how they weren't even able to finish it. It was so depressing. Like, I tried watching the show with my old roommate last year, and eventually we were getting to the end of season 1, and I'm like, honestly, man, I don't know if I want to watch the show with you, because I feel like you're going to be really upset in how this ends. Yeah. And I told him what happened, and he's like, yeah, I don't even want to watch it now.
Sucker for some Spawn.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on for another property that people are eagerly anticipating. And some news actually came out in that Disney Plus Day stuff, but there's a lot on the way when it comes to Star Wars, and I'm talking about a lot of stuff. I'll try to highlight a few things. While I get that pulled up, where's your Star Wars fandom? Are you a casual watcher? Do you even watch it, or are you like hardcore?
I am like, I don't even know if I can consider myself casual.
Oh no!
Because I'm not really into Star Wars. I have my own frustrations with the franchise. Like, I liked Revenge of the Sith. I know. Oh, one of the prequels. I'm such a horrible person. I liked
it's the best of the prequels, so
I know, okay. Right? I liked Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, but I've never seen A New Hope. I know how the story goes, but the only reason I haven't seen A New Hope is because I refuse to watch it. I want the original theatrical version, and Disney won't give that to us.
Okay. As
for Clone Wars, I was not into it. I don't care for Darth Maul. I don't understand why everyone's so infatuated with him. The Bad Batch I have no interest in. The Mandalorian is the one show that I'm invested in.
Okay, I was hoping you weren't going to say anything bad about The Mandalorian.
No.
That is so good. And, well, guess what? If you did like The Mandalorian, you might like the Book of Boba Fett, which, of course, is going to be a spin-off series coming December 29th. That's actually got a release date right before the new year on Disney+.
Finally.
Boba Fett, I like that character. I think that's going to be good. All right, I want your opinion on this. This is going to be an Obi-Wan Kenobi series with Mr. Ewan McGregor reprising his role. You talked about the prequels. He might have been the best part of the prequels.
Yeah.
I like his character. No, I was just going to say, could this work? Hayden Christensen as well.
I think it very well could work. Have they said where they're going to take the story exactly? Are they going to focus between 3 and 4, or are they going even before Phantom Menace?
I'm not 100% on where the story's going. I just know that the people involved, and then there was a bit of a first look, so they're teasing another battle between Obi-Wan and Vader.
Okay, so then it would have to take place between 3 and 4, unless they do that weird thing where, like, they kind of dance between when he was younger and then now and back and forth. I think the show is promising because, I have to agree with you. Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan was the best part of the whole prequels, and it's, like, the only thing we could ever discuss that's, like, amazing. You know?
Yeah, the prequels are a bit of a sore spot. Andor is coming 2022 to Disney Plus. We saw him, Diego Luna's character in Rogue One, which people really enjoyed Rogue One, that film. The Mandalorian Season 3, of course, it was nominated for all kinds of Emmy Awards, which was a little surprising this year. Ahsoka, I'm probably...
Yeah, Ahsoka Tano.
Okay, thank you. People are excited about that character. That's one that I'm interested in.
She's from the Clone Wars animated series, so I know that she was a fan favorite and everything. Like I said, I wasn't super into Clone Wars, but if the show turns out good, I'll check it out. But as for Mandalorian Season 3, like, those Emmys, I would say, are well-deserved. Season 2 is just phenomenal. It actually, Season 1 kind of left me a little bit skeptical because the middle section of Season 1 was really rough, to where I'm like, if they put out one more bad episode, I'm dipping out, man. I don't have time for this. And then Season 2 was just bam.
Yeah.
From start to finish, and I actually have a lot of faith in this series again.
Yeah, no, I agree in the production. You can't find better production quality on a TV series. I dare you to tell me in the comments. All right, I tease it at the top. Ty, give us your video game picks. What do you got for us today?
Okay, so I decided to go with a few games, a couple of games that I've been playing recently, and a game that's actually coming out right after this podcast goes up on Thursday, right?
Yeah, end of the week, yes.
Okay, so you'll be able to look forward to this tomorrow after this uploads. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. It's a remake of two Pokemon games from back in 2006, 2007. They were a big part of my life in middle school. It's Pokemon, gotta catch them all, get all the monsters and everything. But the cool things about this one was, like, they had a mining section in the game where you could go underground and find gems, and you could also build your own, like, underground basement, sort of, and fill it with, like, furniture and Pokemon plushies and stuff. It was like a little Animal Crossing mode within Pokemon, if you know what Animal Crossing is.
Amazing.
So yeah, I already pre-ordered that, and I'm super excited. I got Shining Pearl, by the way, because Palkia is the better legendary.
I'll take your word for it.
What you say about Dialga. Anyways, don't at me in the comments.
I'm not.
No, not you. I'm talking to them.
Somebody will. The people.
Yeah, I'm sure someone's gonna be like, "Oh, X and Y was better." No, it wasn't.
All right, that's a good one. Any other ones?
So lately I've been super addicted to Hot Wheels Unleashed, which, licensed games, they're not typically good, but this is amazing. Like, this is a racing game, obviously.
Yeah.
But this is like Hot Wheels in really, really great detail, has a flexible track customization tool to where you can make literally whatever kind of tracks you want to. And they even include some classic set pieces from past Hot Wheels I almost said products. Goodness, I can't talk today. But they have that, and then they have a ton of awesome cars that many will recognize, like Twin Mill and Bone Crusher, or Bone Shaker, I mean. But they also included a ton of licensed vehicles, too. So, like, just this weekend, I unlocked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Party Bus. I got that one. Nice. And then I found out that recently they put out DLC for more cars. So you can now drive James Bond's Aston Martin. You can drive some of the licensed Hot Wheels cars that they're making today, like M. Bison from Street Fighter. They also started a DC Comics Villains season where you can unlock cars based on Bane, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Deathstroke, and a couple others that I'm probably missing, but amazing. I highly, highly recommend it. If you grew up with Hot Wheels, you'll absolutely love it. It's worth the $50. If you love racing games, worth the $50.
And I feel like Hot Wheels is like, I mean, it's been around forever, but I feel like it's hot again.
It kind of is, because, like,
go to a Walmart, go to a Toys R Us, and there's like a wall of like Hot Wheels.
Yeah, like I went to my local Target the other day, and I found SpongeBob Hot Wheels. I'm like, these things are exploding now.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they died at one point where nobody cared, and I was honestly thinking, like, man, is Hot Wheels about to go down? Like, no, are we about to lose Hot Wheels? And
they're hot again.
Yeah, and you go on YouTube, type in Hot Wheels. There's tons of videos with, like, millions of views. Yeah. So we need to do a top 10 Hot Wheels cars.
And there needs to be a Hot Wheels movie.
Oh, definitely.
With Vin Diesel.
I would be first in line to see that. That'd be awesome.
All right. Any others before we go?
Last pick, Mario
got one.
Party Superstars. It's a remake of some boards from Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, but they also have mini games from the GameCube era and even the Wii games as well. I've been playing that like crazy just because I love Horrorland and Spaceland. I grew up with Mario Party 2. That's my diehard favorite. But the way they've gone and touched up animation, well, not touched up animations. They basically took Super Mario Party's engine and character models and stuff and used that to make this game. It's a ton of fun. No motion controls, thank God. And I would say that is definitely worth every penny, even if you aren't an old geezer like me.
Yeah,
grew up in the N64.
I love me some Mario Party, so
It's
appreciate
amazing.
it. All right, I want to know what you people out there think of Ty's video game picks. Drop it in the comments, and of course, X-Men 97. Will you be tuning in 2023? And of course, Star Wars. What property is on your must-watch list? All right, Ty, don't go anywhere. Me and you, we got to go beyond the list. All right, Ty, this is the part of the program where we dig deep and I pluck out an old top 10 list from the WatchMojo archives. And we go beyond that list. We give our personal opinions, of course, and try to figure out if WatchMojo got it right or wrong. This list, by the way, is coming from 2015. WatchMojo does these reduxes sometimes where they put out a top 20. We are going to stick with the original top 10. And the category today, Best Celebrity Voice Actor Performances. So we're looking at, obviously, animated films. And this is the celebrity that's doing the guest voice. So not voice actors where they make a living out of this. This is celebrities who joined in the fun. What is your animation viewing? Are you an animated film fan, Ty?
I love animated movies. It's just that the problem with a lot of them these days is they feel like the same as the last, in whether it's in visual style or writing or something. So I've grown to be very, very picky on my animated movies. So much to the point where I'm going back and watching older stuff. So I've been rewatching Monsters Inc. lately because Monsters at Work finished not too long ago.
Did you like Monsters at Work? I know some people that really did.
I absolutely loved it.
Okay.
I will be the first to admit the first 2 episodes are really... they're not that great, but when you get to episode 3, it's amazing from there. So if you can get through the first 2 episodes, which are like 40 minutes of your time, not each, altogether, it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it.
They always say give a show 3 episodes. When you see like TV critics, show critics, they always get sent the first 3 episodes, and that's what they base their review on. So yeah, that's a good rule of thumb. That's on Disney Plus, right? Monsters at Work?
Yes, it is. And it is only a season. I don't think they're renewing it, so you can finish it within a weekend if you really sit down and, get through it.
All right, well, let's get into these movies and these celebrity voice performances. Number 10 on this list, Jerry Orbach as Lumiere, Beauty and the Beast, 1991. I thought this was pretty inspired casting, and I think... Listen, I can already hear his voice just thinking of this character. I think that's iconic. I'm not going to disagree.
Absolutely. He's... And when you hear Be My Guest for the first time, you don't forget it. You don't at all. Like, and no matter how many times I hear that song, it's amazing through and through. And the way he puts so much personality into Lumiere, it's... I can't imagine anybody else voicing him. It's kind of why I didn't see the live action remake, because I'm like, that's not Lumiere. I'm sorry, much respect to you, whoever's playing Lumiere, but...
No, and I think that's 100% why sometimes these live action Disney remakes kind of don't work as well, because the voice actors are the people that made it so iconic. There's one on the list I'm sure is very close. We'll save it, but yeah, that was 100% of the reason why I didn't like the live Disney version of that particular movie. But I'll save my comments for then, because we're moving on to number 9. This is an interesting one. This was George Clooney voicing Mr. F.F. Foxy Fox. The Fantastic Mr. Fox came out in 2009. I don't know. I remember I did see it. I don't know if it left as much of an impression on me as some of the other performances. So much so that I don't know. I think Clooney was fine.
Yeah, he was okay. I mean, to me, he was playing George Clooney as an animated fox. It was George Clooney as George Clooney. Not to excuse me, not to like downplay his acting abilities, but I feel like there should have been a better spot, a better candidate for even number 9. Movie's still great. And
no, movie's great.
Character's still great.
I love the animation style. Like I said, I don't know if it left such a mark. There is honorable mentions on this particular list, and like I said, from 2015, so I'm sure we'll have some that could have filled that slot. Let's move on to number 8. Steve Carell voicing Gru. It's Despicable Me, the whole franchise, still going on. There's going to be another one. I don't know. Steve Carell, that was an interesting voice. I think everyone remembers the Minions now.
Yeah,
right?
The Minions have overshadowed the whole franchise.
It's all about the Minions. But Carell's good. I mean, it's a very distinct voice, right? He didn't just do Steve Carell.
Yeah, it's he has an accent to him, and there's a more of a different personality in his character compared to when he was Hammy in Over the Hedge, where he was just Steve Carell, but on some real stuff, you know?
Yeah.
If you catch my drift. But him as Gru, like, especially in the first movie, I'd say his voice acting was amazing.
It's pretty good, yeah. It's a Russian accent, too, so that's not always easy to do.
Oh, yeah, especially without getting super outrageous with it. Like, you know, always going with the stereotypical stuff like, oh, vodka and bears in Soviet Russia, you know, that whole thing.
I'll do my stereotypical mention of my hair, which I tend to do on each episode. My barber's Russian, and he always complains about people who are not Russian doing the Russian accent. So I'll have to ask him about Steve Carell.
Oh, you might want to tell him to skip this episode. I don't want to, like, ruffle feathers.
I'll have him rate your particular rendition just then.
Oh, my God.
Number 7. Before we recorded this, I was telling Ty that there's some people on this list that I don't know if it aged so well. Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey hasn't aged that well based on a lot of accusations that have come out about him in recent times. He played Hopper in A Bug's Life in 1998. Yes, I think that was a good voice performance. The actor himself, I mean, we can start a whole debate about can you separate the artist from the art, that whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. A Bug's Life.
It sucks for me because Bug's Life was one of my favorite movies as a kid. It's a great movie. Yeah, and Kevin Spacey as Hopper, he absolutely nailed it. But knowing what we know now, it's like, man.
And isn't Woody Allen, like the Woody Allen, voicing in this one too?
I don't think so.
Or was it like an impersonator doing a Woody Allen-esque? But
I don't know. Let me check real quick. But
yeah, I remember A Bug's Life that movie was a game changer, by the way.
It really was. Like the animation quality in that was such a drastic improvement compared to, you know, the first Toy Story.
I think I'm confusing Woody Allen with Ants. Remember Bug's Life and Ants came out at the same time.
Yeah, they totally did. Like DreamWorks was trying to compete or something.
Yeah, that's what it is. And Bug's Life was, I think, the better one. But I do remember Ants, and that was the oh boy, they both movies had a troublesome casting.
Ants was weird, man. There was something super adult about it where even as a kid, I'm like, I don't feel like I should be watching this.
It's so true.
Like you watch this couple of hornets get slaughtered out in the open.
Yeah, no, it's so true.
I'm just like, good God, man.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to Billy Crystal. Who doesn't love them some Billy Crystal? He played Mike Wazowski in your favorite franchise, apparently, Monsters Incorporated.
One of them.
That whole franchise. So I don't think we're going to see his counterpart on this list.
That's That's honestly disappointing. Like, because I would pick John Goodman as Sully over Mike Wazowski. Yeah, Mike is more iconic. He's more of the face of the franchise at this point, you know. But I think Sully to me was the main character of it all, you know.
I think John Goodman as an actor is so great.
He is.
The range that he can do, guys, from the stuff he does on like Roseanne, obviously, but then you see him in some movies like, what was that, 10 Cloverfield Lane, played a really creepy guy.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, he could do everything, and then we see him in animated films doing the voice acting. So I think he's great.
You know what he's really great in? Have you seen Inside Llewyn Davis?
Yes. Yeah.
He was amazing as the grumpy like old soul in the back seat, just constantly laying into Llewyn for like a whole 30 minutes.
So great. I love me some John Goodman. All right, number 5 is Ellen DeGeneres, who played Dory in Finding Nemo, and then in Finding, what is it? It was called
Finding Dory.
Finding Dory, yeah. So DeGeneres, I think she was perfectly cast for this particular part because she's the way she talks and her stream of consciousness kind of matches that of this fish. So I'm not going to disagree there. She lands at the number 5 spot, though.
I have to, but it's only because of it's similar to Kevin Spacey, what we know today.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we had the whole toxic work environment with the Ellen show and stuff. That's a conversation for another day. She is still great as Dory. I feel like there's a better spot for somebody else on here.
Yeah.
So
no, you're right. And the reason I was mentioning she's number 5, I think it's a little generous. Pun intended. Okay, number 4. Mike Myers as Shrek. That's an iconic voice performance. I can just look at a picture of Shrek and I can hear Michael Myers' rendition. It was originally going to be Chris Farley. I think I've mentioned this before.
Yeah.
And that would have been still fun, but a completely different character. But this is Mike Myers, and I think, listen, he had a boom period with your Austin Powers. And then Shrek, you know, he was just swimming in $100 bills for a while.
It was like you couldn't get away from him. You had Shrek, you had Austin Powers, you had Wayne's World, you had Halloween. Oh wait, that's a different Michael.
That's a different Mike Myers.
No, I'm surprised he's this low. Like I would have put him at number 2, honestly.
Yeah, no, I think that's iconic.
Just like you can't not look at Mike Myers and hear Donkey.
Yeah.
Or something, you know?
And that's the thing. Eddie Murphy, who did the donkey voice, probably not, and I'll have to skip ahead to see if he is, but I don't think he is. But I think that was Eddie Murphy doing Eddie Murphy, right?
Yeah, in a way. You know, fast talking.
Yeah,
and
that's it. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more cowardly, but it was Eddie Murphy doing his thing, which I'll always appreciate. But yeah, Mike Myers as Shrek, I would put him at number 2, honestly.
All right, well, let's see who topped him. Number 3 is Jeremy Irons for Scar. Yeah, that was quite the. I'm looking at your face. I'm guessing you don't agree, but I think it was a very Shakespearean performance he put out there as Scar. No?
Maybe that's why I'm not so keen on putting him on here. Much respect to Jeremy Irons. I mean, the guy blew his vocal cords out for one song, you know. But I don't know.
A little low on the list. I'll give you that.
Maybe I'm gonna be honest. I'm not into The Lion King at all. I think it's a fine movie, but for what it is, I feel like a lot of people overplay it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority on this.
I don't think so. Especially the live action remake. There was no point to it, by the way.
I didn't even bother paying any attention to the live action remake. I saw the one trailer and I'm like, yep, this is gonna be stupid. I'm out. See ya.
Okay, well, let's see if you're out with number 2, because this might ruffle a little bit of feathers here. It's Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, and no, Tom Hanks is not number 1. So Tim Allen makes the list. Tom Hanks is nowhere near the list. Maybe in an honorable mention. So I don't know. I would have flipped it. I think Tom Hanks' voice performance in the Toy Story franchise as Woody trumps Buzz Lightyear. Is it me?
it's so hard because when you look at the two characters, you know, you have Tom Hanks as this cowboy doll who's really frustrated that there's a toy who refuses to accept his reality, you know, and he's just angry all the time, but he has a little bit of heart, you know. And then you have Tim Allen, who's this Space Ranger toy who manages to take it 100% seriously for like 2/3 of the movie. Mm-hmm. And then he has that earth-shattering reality where he sees himself in that toy commercial. And both performances are stellar.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't choose a side, honestly.
And I think Toy Story, though, any of those voice performances are stellar, right?
Yeah.
Like, they did an amazing job at casting those toys.
Yeah, you had John Ratzenberger as Ham. You had Wallace Shawn as Rex.
Yeah.
What's her name? As Bo Peep. She was in Ghostbusters as the receptionist.
Oh yeah. I know.
What's her name?
Annie Potts.
Yes, that's her name.
You had Don Rickles as Mr. Potato Head. Come on.
Wayne Knight as Al in Toy Story 2.
Yeah, no, so great.
Like every one of those voices in those movies is, you just don't forget those.
No.
Like, even I've been watching clips of the Buzz Lightyear animated series, and even though it's Wayne Knight voicing Zurg, I'm still hearing the deep one from Toy Story 2, the Darth Vader impersonation. So it's, I don't know. Tim Allen's a good choice, but you could go either way here.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm interested to hear what other people think. So let us know. All right, let's get to some honorable mentions. I don't think there's any surprise who number one is, and if it's not who I think it is, I might flip my table. So get ready for that. Sacha Baron Cohen's in an honorable mention here as King Julian in Madagascar. Yeah, fun. Woody Allen for Ants. I was right. He was in Ants. He made an honorable mention, but another kind of cringy pick, looking at it through today's lens.
Yeah.
James Woods, there's another controversial figure right now based on his political spewings out there in the internet. But he played Hades in Hercules.
Yeah,
in 97.
I'll rewatch that movie any given day. I know James Woods is very controversial these days, but like, there's so much more to Hercules than just Hades.
Yeah. Speaking of controversial, Mel Gibson too. As John Smith is book.
He was John Smith? I never knew that.
Yeah, he was. 1995 John Smith was Mel Gibson's voice. And
you know, it's funny though, like as you read Mel Gibson, I was like, are we really about to put Chicken Run in honorable mentions?
No, please not
what? And then you said John Smith, and I'm like, wait.
Yep. And Jack Black as Kung Fu Panda, Po. All right, number one. Can we just do it? Yeah, okay. No flipping of the tables today, because Robin Williams as Aladdin's genie. And I was talking earlier about the live action. They had Will Smith. That was a lose-lose role for him, because you can't replace Robin Williams. No one can do it as good as him. And he changed the celebrity voice acting game. Before him, it was very rare that you had an actual celebrity, a well-known actor, take on these roles. And once he did it, then it was like, okay, get me the next celebrity, get me the next comedian to voice this role. He nailed it.
Yeah. And it's astounding too when you look at the behind the scenes stuff they animated around his performance.
Yes.
They didn't animate it first and then have the voice actors, lip sync and everything.
Because he improvised all these wonderful things. You're right. I've seen that.
He gave footage. All this material, all these jokes. I don't think there was a single joke he made that was cut where I'm like, that should have been cut,
Yeah.
Every one of them was great in their own ways. And yeah, like there's really nobody else like Robin and
nobody
as the genie.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And you're right about Will Smith. He was I feel so bad for him. Like,
it was lose-lose. Like he listen, he did his own thing. He made it a Will Smith performance, which he should have. He shouldn't have tried to copy Robin Williams. But you're gonna compare them regardless.
Yeah.
Any of these Disney remakes you're gonna compare.
Yeah. It's something you're never going to win. Like, if Disney was to come to me and be like, hey, do you want to voice Panic in the live action Hercules movie? I'd be like, you serious? Like, I don't. you know how good that movie is, right? Like every one of your actors, you need to go talk to those people.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But for Robin as Genie, like, oh man, it's always sad rewatching that movie, but it's always so amazing.
All right, 2015. This list came out. Like I said, there is a top 20 out there. I'm not 100% sure who topped it, but just off the top of your head, or any ones that any recent contemporary films at the time of this recording that are. I'm trying to think myself. I'm not sure. I think we nailed the big ones. I mean, I'm thinking of Disney. Tina Fey did something recently with Up, which I thought was okay. Mm-hmm. Jamie Foxx obviously was in there as well. I don't know. What about you? Anything?
Nothing that I can really put a finger on. Like I said, a lot of the animated movies I see these days, I'm not super inspired by. Like, I think like
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson is in Cars. Oh my goodness!
What's this?
Wow.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. Wow. No, he's all right. But Lego Movie, I think Elizabeth Banks was all right. She was good as Wild Style, and then Morgan Freeman as Vitruvius was amazing. Yes, I know, dog. Vitruvius should have been on this list.
My
Morgan
dog
Freeman.
is reminding me of Chris Pratt. Who now voices everything.
I know. Chris Pratt seems to be on everybody's like hit list right now, you know? Cuz he's not just Mario, he's Garfield now, you know? It's
I have to make an announcement, Ty. As of the next episode, I will now be voiced by Chris Pratt for this podcast.
That's going to be a problem.
Hey, listen, we want to know what you guys out there think. Are you a fan of these animated movies, and who did the best celebrity voice performance? Drop it in the comments. And Ty, I can't thank you enough for joining us once again. Always a lot of fun. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me. And hopefully I didn't anger too many people in the comments about Star Wars and Pokemon.
direct your comments to Ty. All right, everybody else, let's jump in now to our Mojo Chats of the week. We're kicking things off with a chat with two of the stars of the Netflix animated comedy Inside Job. It's a new adult animated comedy coming to Netflix. I got Christian Slater. I got Clark Duke to tell me all about it. Listen, I got a sneak peek here. It's a lot of fun. Clark, I'll start with you. Set the stage. What can people expect out of this? Because we're tackling a bit of a buzzworthy subject right now.
Yeah, the show is, it's basically an office comedy, but the workplace is, set in the secret deep state Illuminati cabal that runs the world. But it's really about, the relationships and the office politics and that kind of thing. And I don't think any of us could have guessed that the conspiracy theory stuff would have been so pertinent when we started the show.
Really? That's amazing. Yeah, no, it really is out there. You can find a conspiracy for just about everything. Christian, let's switch to you for a second. What's been your relationship with conspiracy theories? If I look at your filmography, you're also in Mr. Robot, which is conspiracy laden. But have you found yourself in any kind of conspiracy rabbit holes, or what's your relationship been?
Oh, wow. I tend not to buy into conspiracies too much, other than, there's ones that I hope are real. Like, I hope that Elvis is alive.
Yes.
I think it's probably getting past the point where that one could even be true. Had he lived, he's probably be about 98 by now. But that's a guy that I would have loved to have met at a particular point in my life, and had hoped that he would have lived and been on some ranch somewhere that I could have had an iced tea with him at some point.
Amazing. I mentioned at the top that this is adult animation comedy. I use the term laugh a minute, but in here it's almost like laugh a second. There's so much stuff, gags in the background. You got to read this, you got to see this. It's really great stuff. Let's talk about being an actor in that animated world. Christian, I'll start with you here, because some of our viewers probably recognize you as the voice of things like Deadpool in the DC movies. Yeah, you popped up in things like Archer. But how is it being in this kind of adult animated world? Because you get to go crazy here.
Yes, no, I really, really do. To a certain degree, when you get an opportunity to play a character like this, it makes your home life that much easier because, you get a therapeutic opportunity to really let yourself go crazy. And Rand is completely out of his mind, completely outrageous, and has got all these conspiracy theories. The only interesting thing about it with this particular show is that for him they're not conspiracy theories. He's the smartest guy in the room, and he knows all this stuff is true. So that also makes him a very fun character. And at the same time, he's got a great relationship with his a disturbed relationship with his daughter, but there is a lot of love, I think, between the two of them. It's just they have a hard time connecting.
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting dynamic. Clark, I'll end things with you. Your character's a little interesting. You're playing this kind of yes man. I don't want to say he's like a frat boy, but he's very popular. He's very cool. What's that experience been like playing that type of character in this animated world?
He's very much a frat guy, like an Ivy League frat guy. It's been fun because animation lets you play like a lot of different types that you wouldn't normally get to, but the biggest thing is he's deeply insecure, and that's a pretty universal relatable thing no matter like what his background or what he looks like. So I mean that's where like the comedy comes from, and that's where the kind of like heartbreaking stuff comes from.
Yeah, no, and it really is fun to watch. Like I said, if you want to see aliens and robot presidents and everything else, Inside Job is the show for you. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. And make sure you guys check it out. It's all there on Netflix. My guest today is one of the stars of the new FX drama Impeachment. That's right, American crime story.
Yes.
To do with the Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton scandal. Emma Malouff is here. Emma, how are you?
Doing really well, Matt. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, and I'm excited to chat with you because this show that you're on has me hooked. I'm hooked. I love this type of stuff. But that's what's great about these shows. We had the one about there was O.J. Simpson. What was the other one? The Versace
assassination of Gianni Versace.
That's right. So they're all fantastic. They're all done by Ryan Murphy over there on FX. This is the latest one. Tell people that might not be familiar, and I did the math, Emma. You weren't born during the time of this scandal.
I was not.
So I guess my first question, I guess, would be, did you know about it going into getting the job?
Yeah, when I first had the audition, I was fortunate enough to have this project cross my path. I definitely, my mom and we sat down and I had to go over all the history because I had no idea that this had happened. And, so I read up I found all the articles that I could, all the documentaries, and really just tried to fill myself with as much knowledge and perspective as I could.
Yeah, and because it was a big deal. I mean, it took over all the headlines, all the papers, all the news magazines. It was big stuff. Now, I was going to get you to do is set the stage for your character, because you're playing the daughter of a very important piece to this puzzle, and that would be Linda Tripp. So kind of set the stage about who you're playing. Yeah,
so I play Allison Tripp, who is the daughter of Linda Tripp, played by Sarah Paulson. And, it was interesting because Allison was my age, 18, when all of this happened, when her whole world started falling apart. And I had to take a step back and really empathize with her and think to myself, how would I feel if that was my mom being completely ridiculed and made fun of by the media and the press? And, it was a very interesting experience for me to step into her shoes, because she was human. All of these characters, they're human. And, sometimes, unfortunately, with the story, the media dehumanized a lot of these women. And so to step into Allison, to see her mom in this human light of experiencing all these situations that were happening around her. Yeah, it was very interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. And I think Linda in particular got the brunt of some of those
Mm-hmm.
nastiness out of the tabloids,
Mm-hmm.
having to do with
Mm-hmm.
her appearance. You know, on Saturday Night Live, she was portrayed
Yeah.
by John Goodman. I mean, that's
Right.
I love me some John Goodman, but that's not
Yeah.
obviously a very flattering depiction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so you're great. You're right about the humanization of these characters, and of course, seeing her daughter, you on that show, absolutely does that.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Monica Lewinsky? Is she
Yeah.
part of the producing of this program?
Yes, she is producing it. I mean, talk about a powerhouse. Monica is incredible. Such an incredible woman.
Did you
Oh my
ever
gosh.
cross paths with?
Yeah. So actually, crazy story. I didn't cross paths with her on this show, but I have worked with her previously for this anti-bullying PSA called The Epidemic. It was with her, BBDO, a couple of other amazing agencies that put on this anti-bullying PSA, and I play a young girl who is being cyberbullied by her fellow classmates, and eventually she tries to commit suicide. And it was very eye-opening, necessary project, and I was so thankful to have had the opportunity to be a part of it. And she was really taking charge of that project, and so I got to meet her through that, and it was amazing. And so when I booked this job, I was like, that how cool is that? Yeah.
Serendipitous, I think is what that is. That's awesome. And I think it's great that she's kind of having a stake in what's being shown, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's really her story.
It is, yeah.
The cast. I mean, we talked a little bit about Sarah Paulson, but I mean, the list it's a who's who, right? You got your
just
Clive
goes on and on.
Owens.
Yeah.
But I mean, you in particular got to work with Sarah Paulson, so I got to ask about that experience, because people look at her as, like, you know, this holy grail in the acting community.
She is.
She really is.
She is.
So, Sarah, how was she?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I mean, it was a masterclass. I've said this before, but it was a masterclass in acting. And what's been so fun for me is, you know, when I was on set, every moment I was on set watching her and trying to learn from her and observe her and working in scenes with her. I mean, that was just incredible, you know, because she's so meticulous and pays such attention to every single detail. I mean, down to the continuity, and does this feel natural if I come in this way? Would I do this as a human? Would a human being pick up this piece of paper in this like, just her attention to detail is phenomenal. And so it was really cool then now watching the show and seeing everything that I got to see her do translate on screen. And she's amazing.
No, that's great to hear. And I can only imagine being a young actress working with someone like Sarah Paulson, and the amount of knowledge that you would take in like a sponge. She looks a lot different than what we know her as.
Yeah.
Was there like I'm assuming there was some sort of heavy prosthetic makeup type process?
Prosthetics, all the things. Yeah. Hair and makeup, everything to transform her.
So was that weird interacting with that Sarah Paulson looking like that?
You know, what's so cool is with our jobs, we take in what's around our environment and we make it true. And so it just was so cool then to see her as Linda. And I mean, you just drop right in and you're like, okay, she's Linda and here we go. And we're going to knock this out. And it makes it so much fun, you know, to experience everything, set decoration and art and all of that to make it and tell the story.
What has been some of the feedback? Have you gotten any from anybody out there? Because like I said, these stories, they're so iconic. They captivated a nation, and a lot of people have very strong feelings about it. Has it been positive? Has it been indifferent? What have you come across anything?
Yeah, you know, personally, I haven't come across too many things, but I do hope that, you know, audiences will walk away with a broader perspective and empathy for the characters of this story, and I mean, especially the women of this story, you know, because they were cast in not the best light. And so I hope that audiences will see them and walk away with a different perspective and respect and empathy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And hey, listen, it's working on me. Before we go, Emma, I want to talk about about some of your interests outside of the acting world.
Absolutely.
I was reading a little bit. Did you do some dancing, some ballet?
Yeah.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about that.
I was a ballerina for 12 years, studied ballet. When I was 3, my Mimi and Poppy took me to go see the production of The Nutcracker with Pacific Northwest Ballet, because I was born in Seattle, actually. And I was 3 and I saw it happening on stage, and I was like, that I want to be performing. I want to be taking audiences into this different world. And I remember at intermission, I went out and danced and became Clara for all of the fellow audience members. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And so, yeah, I pursued ballet. And what I loved about it was the performing aspect of it. I loved how I could get into costume and transport audiences into another world through dance and through acting all in one. And I loved it. And so, finally I realized, okay, I think it's the acting side of ballet that I love so much, because also film and TV and acting and creating has been another whole part of my life. I've been creating. When I was younger, my mom said I came out pretending. And so I would go into my own daydreams every day of every second of every moment. I was creating characters and making stories and filming videos. And so, at 15, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to stop dance and I'm going to move to LA. Long story short, here we are, never left, and we're pursuing acting.
Well, it's a great story, and it's really wonderful that you've been able to do these great things. And Ryan Murphy, he used to do Glee. Okay, so maybe he'll do some sort of a lot of dancing and singing in those shows. Maybe
you never know. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I absolutely love to sing. I was classically trained actually to sing opera.
What can't she do?
Fun fact. fun fact for you.
Well, that's going to do it for another episode, everybody. I want to thank Ty. I want to thank Christian Slater, Clark Duke, Emma Malouff for joining in on all the fun this week. And as always, thank you for watching and listening. Make sure to drop us a line if there's anything you want us to chat about. Until next time, I've been Mr. Hollywood. Poppin the Culture.